they're done. And it's no wonder everyone avoided them like the plague.
Could one of Hollywood's most adored couples be standing on the edge of total destruction? For years, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds charmed the world with their quick-witted banter and picture-perfect family moments. Fans believed they could do no wrong, until now. A colossal lawsuit, rumored to be worth hundreds of millions, just smashed into their reputations, catching fellow actor-director Justin Baldoni in the crossfire. And if the allegations are true, the fallout could redefine Hollywood's power balance forever.
The Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni legal battle took a turn Tuesday night when Lively filed an amended complaint alleging that two other actresses on the set of the film are prepared to testify.
It all began quietly enough with an announcement that Blake Lively had signed on to star in the film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, It Ends With Us. The book was already a sensation, especially among young adult readers who praised its raw depiction of complex relationships.
Told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, "I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully."
Adding to the buzz was the involvement of Justin Baldoni, a director known for his focus on heartfelt, human stories. Fans were overjoyed. Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Justin Baldoni seemed like a powerhouse trio with the potential to draw huge crowds. But as filming got underway, industry insiders whispered that not everything was harmonious on set. Initially, those whispers were brushed aside. After all, how could things be anything but perfect with such a star-studded cast?
Justin says that Blake was determined to make him the real-life villain in her story because she wasn't doing well on the promo tour for the movie. It was very tone-deaf. Her hair care line wasn't doing well.
What no one expected was that those quiet rumors of discontent would erupt into a legal battle so massive it might swallow careers whole. The pleasant facade began to crack. And once it did, there was no going back. Behind the scenes, some crew members began to notice that the production process wasn't as seamless as they'd hoped. Promotional materials seemed oddly skewed toward Blake Lively's side ventures. Mentions of her hair care brand, her denim line, and even her alcohol label overshadowed the storyline of It Ends With Us.
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. Ixnayed all of the wardrobe choices.
Critics on social media started asking, was this a film about domestic violence and emotional trauma, or one big marketing billboard for Blake's personal products? The real tension, some insiders claim, revolved around creative control. It Ends With Us is a delicate narrative that tackles heavy themes. Yet rumors circulated that the film's promotional direction was trivializing these serious issues, turning them into a playful, carefree vibe that clashed with the book's deeper messages.
The times where people ignore the red flags and say, let's just keep pushing, those are the times where you fail.
The friction grew loud enough that even casual fans picked up on it. Podcasts, Twitter threads, and YouTube comment sections began to question how the film would handle the domestic violence angle. Would it do the book justice, or was it doomed to be a shallow Hollywood rebranding? As these questions bubbled up, a darker undercurrent took shape. Was there a power struggle happening backstage? Some said that Justin Baldoni felt sidelined in his own project. Others pointed fingers at Blake, suggesting she was micromanaging every aspect of production.
And an executive producer is below a producer in the film world. An executive producer signed up to be an executive producer, and that's it.
Unbeknownst to the public, these tensions were about to explode into allegations and lawsuits that nobody could have anticipated. Then came the official legal documents, and they landed like an earthquake. Reports emerged that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were not just defending themselves in court, they were also being sued in a separate case. The total combined claims soared to a jaw-dropping figure, $400 million.
She became uncomfortable with Justin Baldoni yesterday while she was filming. She states that Mr. Baldoni put his bare hands on her backside.
In one corner, Justin Baldoni, his production company Wayfarer, and an army of attorneys pointing to a toxic environment orchestrated, they allege, by none other than Blake. The accusations? Everything from reputational sabotage to misappropriation of creative rights. One segment of the lawsuit even claims that negative press about the film was intentionally steered away from Blake's brand while pinning all blame on others. Meanwhile, Blake Lively wasn't just on defense. She filed her own legal salvo, claiming that Justin, and possibly others, spread defamatory rumors about her.
That shouldn't be happening, by the way.
I was like, hey, and I just gave her a big hug, and I think I scared her.
My nose is so big.
I was hoping that we could address this.
She insisted she was the real victim, subjected to behind-the-scenes manipulation and a twisted PR campaign. Fans were stunned. How could a project that once promised to bring fresh perspectives and heartfelt performances become the center of one of Hollywood's most explosive controversies? Online debates went nuclear. Some believed Blake and Ryan were simply fighting to protect their reputations.
Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why, what have you heard?
Others were convinced that Justin Baldoni was fed up with having his control over the film snatched away. But whichever side people took, one thing was certain. This wasn't just about creative disagreements anymore. It was about monstrous sums of money, tarnished reputations, and an alleged power struggle that seemed to have no end in sight. It didn't take long for the drama to spill into the courtroom. Publicly filed motions revealed Blake's attorneys begging the judge for a gag order.
In Blake's first amended complaint, Blake changed what she alleges about what happened while filming the slow dance scene, now that the footage has been released for everyone to see.
They argued that Justin's legal team was dumping confidential documents, emails, text messages, even partial video clips, straight into the public domain, painting her in a negative light. The irony? Justin's side countered with claims that Blake had done the exact same thing to him months prior, collaborating with a major news outlet to publish a damning expose that effectively tanked his career. The judge's response was swift and brutal. No gag order granted. Federal courts rarely muzzle high-profile cases unless there's an immediate danger or a clear violation of privacy.
Essentially, he says she didn't even read the book before signing on to the project. Then she read the book and kind of became consumed with it and wanted to basically introduce her own lines and wanted to become a part of the project.
In this instance, the public's right to know overshadowed any individual's request for silence. As the rulings trickled in, it became clear the court wasn't picking favorites. Both parties were admonished to follow the rules, but neither side received special protection. Of course, that wasn't the only legal curveball. There was talk that Blake refused to be deposed by Justin's attorney, citing personal discomfort and accusations of bias. But once again, the judge made it clear. If you're a plaintiff in one lawsuit and a defendant in another, you don't get to pick who questions you. She'd have to sit down for the deposition, like it or not. These legal maneuvers only fanned the flames of public intrigue. People on social media dissected every newly released court document, searching for the juiciest revelations.
Well, Blake Lively can forget about packing her bags for New Orleans this weekend. I guess
she can go.
She can still go to the Super Bowl.
She's just not going to get the best suite, that's for sure.
She will not be in Taylor Swift's suite.
The entire fiasco started to feel less like a typical Hollywood spat and more like a Shakespearean tragedy, with each party determined to prove they were the real victim. Stories poured out from production insiders about how The Set of It Ends With Us had been rife with suspicion. According to multiple accounts, Blake Lively exercised far more power than her contract allowed, practically taking over the film's creative direction. Wardrobe decisions, editorial control, reshoots, even marketing tie-ins, everything, it seemed, went through her personal filter.
Because when you're making a movie about a poor woman who's suffering from domestic violence, you want her to look like she has money.
Right.
That Blake said.
Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni reportedly found himself locked out of crucial meetings, overshadowed in promotional materials, and eventually barred from major press events. For her part, Blake and her team insisted that any claims of a toxic environment were gross distortions. They argued that she was merely stepping up to make sure the film met fan expectations, especially since the book tackled sensitive topics. But critics saw a different narrative, a Hollywood star leveraging her fame, and her even more famous husband, to wrest control away from the original creative team. One particularly contentious claim suggested that Blake orchestrated a last-minute shift in the film's tone to spotlight her personal brands, trivializing the serious subject matter that made It Ends With Us popular in the first place. But was Blake the only power player at fault? Her lawsuit stated that Justin and his company retaliated by fueling negative press behind the scenes. According to her, once she stood up for her vision, Justin launched a smear campaign aimed at humiliating her publicly and pressuring her to step away from the project.
I love creating, and I think that as women, you're not often given authorship, yet women represent 85%.
It sounded far-fetched to some fans, until emails allegedly showing manipulative PR strategies leaked online. In the eyes of the public, lines were blurring. Were they witnessing genuine workplace harassment claims, or an elaborate strategy to seize the entire franchise? Opinions clashed in countless online forums, with each new piece of evidence further dividing the audience. What started as a single film project was spiraling into an all-out war, one that threatened to leave permanent scars on everyone involved. That's when a digital deluge of so-called smoking guns hit the internet. A newly launched website, rumored to be affiliated with Justin's legal team, posted a trove of documents, interview transcripts, contract details, text messages, and behind-the-scenes videos. They painted a picture of a production that spiraled wildly out of control. One segment featured an audio clip where someone with a voice matching Blake's insisted she had the final say on costume design, even though that was never in her official purview.
That Justin Baldoni, ultimately, by the time they got to the premiere, was mandated by Blake Lively to spend the night in the basement, away from his co-star.
Another batch of messages implied that Ryan Reynolds, in the background, pressured studio executives to side with Blake on key decisions. Why? To protect not only her brand, but also his own. With everything on the line, including spin-offs and potential sequels, like Colleen Hoover's It Starts With Us, the stakes had soared. In a high-reward scenario, any loss of control could translate to massive financial repercussions down the line. Fans who'd admired Blake for her style and wit felt betrayed. They recalled how she'd promoted the movie's storyline as an uplifting or even floral-themed romance, seemingly glossing over the novel's intense domestic violence focus. Critics pointed out that such downplaying wasn't just a simple oversight, it was disrespectful to survivors of abuse. By the time these revelations went public, the outcry was deafening.
Words coming in from the celebrities at the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary, asking why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were even there.
Hashtags condemning Blake's approach trended on social media, while supportive fan pages went silent or pivoted to neutral coverage. Overnight, she went from a Hollywood sweetheart to a lightning rod for controversy. Yet, Justin Baldoni also took heat. Some argued that releasing private documents smacked of desperation, that it was a petty attempt to dunk on a co-star rather than settle matters in court. Still, the cracks in the perfect Hollywood couple image for Blake and Ryan were too big to ignore. With each new leaked file, more viewers switched sides, leaning toward Justin's claims of sabotage. As the evidence continued pouring out, both lawsuits charged forward. The judge warned that if the tensions kept rising, the trial dates might be moved even sooner, giving neither party a chance to regroup. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, major Hollywood players were nervously watching the meltdown. Studios contemplating future collaborations with Blake and Ryan weighed the risks of negative PR. Production companies that once welcomed Justin's heartfelt storytelling now hesitated, fearing the labyrinth of legal troubles following him.
I defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie.
Several of Justin's deals, including potential streaming projects, reportedly evaporated under the weight of this controversy. For Blake, it wasn't just about job offers. Her brand partnerships, those high-end fashion lines, hair products, and even her own beverage line felt the sting of negative press. Some corporate sponsors quietly distanced themselves, worried that they'd get dragged into the legal brawl. Adding to the chaos, fans of It Ends With Us realized that the film's release might be stuck in limbo indefinitely. Reshoots, distribution hurdles, and the question of who actually held the rights threatened to delay the movie for years. Colleen Hoover's loyal readers, initially thrilled about the adaptation, watched in dismay as the project became a legal quagmire. The damage was profound and personal. The once invincible aura around Blake and Ryan was cracking apart for all to see. Rumors swirled that the couple was sinking millions of dollars into legal fees, determined to fight every charge. On the other side, Justin's personal finances took a blow as he struggled to salvage what was left of his reputation and career. At this stage, it seemed like no one would walk away unscathed. So, where does this Hollywood nightmare go from here? Both parties have shown zero interest in backing down. And each new piece of leaked evidence only intensifies the public drama.
And that's why I want to personally extend my gratitude to Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively.
While a settlement could theoretically end the spectacle, neither side appears ready to compromise. There's simply too much at stake: hundreds of millions of dollars, entire careers, and the lasting legacy of a best-selling novel's adaptation. What's the ultimate lesson? That sometimes the glittering facade of Hollywood can hide razor-sharp power plays, even among fan-favorite celebrities. A single movie meant to spotlight domestic violence awareness has instead become a battleground of clashing egos, legal gambits, and shattered public images. If these allegations hold any truth, then we may be witnessing a downfall more dramatic than any script could muster. Only time and the federal court will determine the true scope of responsibility. Will Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds bounce back as they have so many times before? Or will Justin Baldoni prove they orchestrated the perfect storm to overshadow his vision and tear down his career? For now, the next chapter lies just around the corner, and it's bound to rewrite Hollywood's understanding of power dynamics yet again. Keep your eyes on this ever-evolving saga, because the final verdict could shake the industry to its core. Until then, the biggest question remains: can any of these once golden reputations survive the firestorm of lawsuits, leaked evidence, and public outrage? Or is this, at long last, the moment these stars fall from grace? Stay tuned, because the real story is still unfolding.